You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ12. Just go to Indeed.com/PODKATZ12 right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
Networking is a value exchange. A lot of times, and I see even recruiters that I mentor and coach or people I've managed before, they go into the network and they go into the community about thinking about what they can take from the network and what they can take from the community. And there's nothing wrong with that. You go out, you go network for that. So to get something, but also think about what value can I add to my network in my community, because that's what it is a value exchange. Anytime you go to a tech conference, anytime you go to a mixer, anytime you go to even a non-industry event where people are just around, think about these people can do this for me, but what can I do for people? Right? So for a recruiter, that's why I said you should be doing resume breakdown sessions like I'm doing. You should be coaching people. You should be doing the greater good. That keeps your skills sharp. That keeps you in the know of what's really going on in the market, because networking being a value exchange is deposits and withdrawals. And I feel like a lot of times people, they withdraw from people way too much.
So as y'all know, we're always talking about breaking into tech, scaling in tech, starting your own tech business. And one of the key components of breaking into tech is actually knowing how to interview, knowing how your resume should look, knowing how to reach out and interact with tech recruiters, hiring managers, and others with the companies that you would like to work at. So one of the most valuable pieces of that component is the knowledge that we gain from tech recruiters, and let's take it a step further, senior level tech recruiters. We've noticed that our audience that you all prefer, you enjoy at least whenever we're talking to different tech recruiters. So today we have a senior level tech recruiter that's recruited at a variety of different tech companies, has a wealth of knowledge and information, is friends with some of the tech recruiters that you've all seen on the podcast. And so we thought that it would be incredibly valuable. Something that we were really excited about having this guest on today, who is Bobby. So bro, thank you so much for being here on Tech is the New Black.
Hey man, I'm happy to be here, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, man. So I'm hyped to have you here as well. You definitely came highly recommended. So also for those of y'all that are in the Patreon community that are watching the stream right now, I know that a lot of y'all have questions that you want to ask. So again, y'all don't have to wait until this airs publicly for everyone else. You can actually go ahead and getting ready to post your questions in the chat right away. So that way in the end, Bobby and I can address the questions that you all have exclusively for him. So, bro, yeah. So man, so hyped to have you, dude. So bro, let's go ahead and jump straight into it, man.
Let's do it.
So just a list of some of the different tech companies. What are some of the different tech companies that you have been a recruiter for?
Yeah, sure. So one company that I worked at was called Pentair. They make water quality systems, a lot of the filters and filtration systems that you find like in pools, spas, even in restaurants, or even in your own home. We had engineers that made all of those. So I was a tech recruiter. I did all the R&D engineering, but also all the tech, right? So a lot of their products could be controlled through like a mobile app.
Yeah.
So
I was gonna ask I was like, okay, where's the tech component at?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking maybe hardware tech, but so the software you saying is mobile?
Yeah. So the tech recruiting, so there was R&D recruiting, but then there was tech recruiting I was doing. So the tech recruiting I was doing is like in this autonomous, IoT Internet of Things type of world we live in. Everything can be controlled through like a mobile app. So I was literally recruiting Android developers that were developing these apps, connecting it to the cloud, connecting it to the IoT, and collecting all the data.
Yeah.
So that was the tech recruiting I was doing there. Then there was another company called Eaton, which is very, very similar. They do power management systems. So I was brought in to recruit their whole software division.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. So now you went from it just being app developers to now, which app developers are software engineers to a degree as well. It's just they have a focus on apps. To now, just all software engineers.
Exactly. So they had both like actual widgets, but they also had like software products, right?
Okay.
That like actually could, like, you know, like Android software, back end, front end on their applications where you can control the systems, you know, from there. So I was responsible for all of their, what they call the digital footprint, their digital division, right? So it was front end developers that I was recruiting for, back end developers, even some full stack people, cybersecurity. I did a lot of that at Eaton. To secure the grid, the power grid. So that was a company I worked at. And also Amazon Web Services. I was a senior tech recruiter there. And basically, we all know what that is. That's the cloud, right? Yeah. So basically, those are a list of some of the companies I worked at.
Yeah, we've had a couple. We've had two guests who've been at AWS who've been here, and one of them actually is a principal cloud developer. Shouts out to Ed, who was on here recently, who dropped some really good nuggets and gems. He's no longer there, but he used to work at AWS, and he transitioned on. So that's super dope. You know, this is a sidebar question. This is a complete sidebar question. What are some of the pressures that a recruiter has to deal with when it comes to recruiting? Because I'm thinking about you saying, okay, you've been a technical recruiter for these different companies. On one end, okay, you're a technical recruiter for a company where you were just over recruiting for people who were developing apps. But then the next company, you were over all of the software engineers, including cybersecurity. So it's like, whenever people are not performing at a company, does that ever come back on the recruiter? Like, let's say it's like, okay, a volume of people that aren't performing, and it's like, yo, all of these people were recruited through you. Is there any pressure that's placed on a recruiter?
Well, I think like a great recruiter and a recruiter that's really, really passionate about their work, I think they definitely care about the longevity of the candidates they hire. Yeah. Right. The first half of my career was agency recruiting. Okay. And then one of the reasons why I made the transition over to corporate recruiting is because I felt like I had more stake in making a quality hire. Okay. So I take a lot of pleasure, and I can speak to a lot of other, you know, corporate recruiters or tech recruiters who kind of feel the same way. I take a lot of pleasure in my candidates doing well. I've had candidates that end up, you know, working their way up and became hiring managers, and next thing I know, I'm partnering with somebody I used to recruit.
Oh, that's crazy.
You know, trying to find them like a software engineer or machine learning engineer. Yeah. So I take great pride in that, and I think I put, you know, a lot of onus on that because I definitely want to see my candidates succeed, not only in the interview but when you get here, right? Yeah. So that's one thing. In regards to the pressures, I think, you know, a lot of people don't know, like, tech recruiting, especially in big tech, it's a lot of pressure. Yeah. There's a lot of things that you have to keep up with. And I think a good recruiter has to know the market. You know, you need to know where talent is migrating. You have to know the different like hubs, the tech hubs. Like, why are people coming to Atlanta? Why are people going to DC? Why are people moving from the West Coast to the East Coast? Right, because your hiring managers are going to rely on you to know what's going on outside. So when you say why are people, are you saying why are tech companies doing that, or is the recruiters, like, one of the things that's valuable for them to know is why are actual people, like individuals, moving to those places? The talent migration, right? So we have to help hiring managers and key, you know, decision makers strategize. Yeah, and they rely on us to do that. So you have to know what's going on in the talent market. You also have to know what's going on financially. Right. So when we're, you know, negotiating salaries, or when we're going, you know, in front of an HR business partner or a hiring manager on your behalf, we have to know about inflation. We have to know what the economy is doing. So, and then also on top of that, you also have to keep up to date on technology. You know, even when I was a manager and I was, you know, I was still coach and mentor recruiters. A great recruiter, you have to at least be able to talk at a conversational level about the technology you're recruiting on. Yeah. That you get buy-in from candidates that way, but you also earn the trust of the hiring managers and business partners that you're collaborating with. So there's those things. And then also, you know, there's metrics, you know, just like... metrics for recruiters? Oh, yeah. What do some of those metrics look like? Oh, man, like there's metrics around like days to fill. So like I have like, okay, we want you to fill this role. And it needs to be filled by this date? By this date. Okay. Yeah. So it's a lot like a sales position, man. Really. we want you to fill these amount of candidates, fill this amount of jobs by XYZ days.
Yeah.
Or we want you to bring in these number of candidates. So it might be 2 hires per month. I had one job that was 5 hires per month. Right.
Man. And I guess, man, that's an interesting type of pressure because like you mentioned, it's sales, but it's kind of inbound, and it's not just, okay, we're trying to get people. It's like we have people that are applying and interviewing, but it's like I could fill the seat with just anybody, but I can't fill the seat with just anybody.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's quality, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, when you're a tech recruiter, especially in big tech, you're a little bit of everything. You're a phone interviewer. You're a financial analyst. You're a project manager.
Yeah.
You're a diversity advocate. You're a lot of stuff, man. And a lot of people don't realize it's more than just interviewing candidates and putting them in front of a hiring manager. Also, then you're a coach. You're prepping candidates. You're trying to set them up for success. So it's a lot of things that go into being that.
Yeah, I think even someone like myself, I've done interviews before, but I've never been a recruiter. And so I think when most people think about recruiting, even technical recruiting, they just think like what you just shared. They think like, yo, like you're just talking to the person, seeing if they're a pretty good fit. And if they're a pretty good fit, you put them in the role, not realizing all the other pieces that come along with. That's why I know so many people that are like, I want to be a tech recruiter. And I'm pretty sure they don't know all the pieces that you just shared that goes into it.
Yeah, it's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah,
especially when you're full cycle. It's a lot that goes into it. You got to be a negotiator. You got to be a closer.
Yo, that's wild. I didn't even know so much went into it, man. Extra respect goes out to you and other tech recruiters. So you talked about big tech. So you worked in big tech. You've been a recruiter for big tech. You've been a recruiter for like small to medium sized tech. What are some of the differences from your experience and some of the differences that you think would be good for people to know who are applying to big tech versus small to medium sized tech companies?
No, good question. So like with big tech, just working in big tech or even being just a tech recruiter, like there's always so much innovation all the time. Like the technology changes, the product changes. So in big tech, you gotta keep in mind you're working around like engineers and technologists that's always thinking big. Yeah. Right? They always,
you need to think big. Stop thinking small. Think big.
So it's like just like the sheer ability to keep up, because not only is their technology and their product is changing, but also the industry is changing.
Yeah.
So it's like it's fast paced. It's more fast paced, not only from a work standpoint, but from a technology and innovation standpoint. Versus, some of the smaller or mid-sized tech companies. Yeah, they're innovating and yeah, they have quality products, but I just see the biggest thing for me is just the difference in pace. The pace is a lot faster across the board, no matter.
It's faster in big tech?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, than it is in some of the smaller. Even though in the smaller mid-sized companies, you can wear multiple hats. In big tech, you have your hat, but it's still like staying abreast of what's going on. And the learning curve is much more robust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that being said, now that leads me to the question of how did you grow and scale to being not just a recruiter, not just a tech recruiter, but a senior tech recruiter in big tech? Because all of those pieces, it's like, again, there are people who don't really know what they're doing when they're stepping into it. So I would love for you to share, one, kind of how you got into it, and two, at this rate in this day and age, how others can like kind of follow in those footsteps.
Yeah. So my journey, I've been a tech recruiter for 14 years.
Ooh.
So, man, I've looked at resumes every day for 14 years.
Yeah.
And I've sat in a lot of interview debriefs, resume review sessions of my candidates and even people who weren't my candidates. So I've seen a lot of things that make a candidate successful and go far in the interview process, but I've also seen a lot of things that kind of repel a candidate from going far. Man. So I bring that experience, but I think one of the key things that kind of separated me and kind of helped me grow was paying attention to the trends.
Yeah.
Not only in tech, but also in my profession. And when it was time for me to, go outside of, the confines of my company and network and talk to people and consult, it's like, wow, like you have a big knowledge base. Like, you know, could you maybe come, you know, talk to these people, and kind of like share what you know. So that kept happening. I kept learning, kept growing, and like I said earlier, really learning the technology. Mm-hmm. Now, don't get me wrong, I can't go in and do any UI UX. I can't do any back end code. You put me in front of Kali Linux, I can't pen test anything. You know, but I gained the respect of the people who were the technologists. And that's how I really ultimately got into big tech. I got recruited in because of the work I did and networking. I think that's one thing a lot of people don't put a lot of emphasis on is networking. Yeah. I had a great resume. I have a good resume now. Is, you know, you can have the most optimal resume, but being a subject matter expert in something and being able to network where people can kind of hear that passion and you're able to put your knowledge on display, that's why I got a call from big tech. Yeah. You know, so, and the way I got in is because somebody referred me. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, and I think that's a big sleeper. Like these companies do employee referrals.
Yeah. So you're saying even in the recruiting sub industry, there's value to networking, so that way you can get doors open up even to be a recruiter at certain tech companies. Yeah. Wow. You know, that's crazy. I guess many people think, because we almost see tech recruiting as, and again, obviously there are different sub industries in tech. You have pre-sales, you have, you have cybersecurity, you have the product, you have recruiting. But I guess most people kind of see it as like, okay, it's all of us, and then there are the recruiters. Not like a weird separation, but like, okay, y'all's experience isn't the same. But the more I'm listening to you, the more I've spoken to other people like Shanae and other guests, other tech recruiters, I'm realizing, man, it's y'all's experience sounds extremely similar, extremely similar.
Yeah, yeah. So. And that's really, I think, being a tech recruiter, I mean, if you're looking to get into tech, but you're not a technologist, I think that's a great way. Yeah. You know, we're HR, but the way how I've learned recruiting, just like in development, there's front end and back end. Yeah. In tech recruiting, or just in HR actually, that's front end and back end. Okay. So I look at talent acquisition, and tech recruiting is the front end. That's the front office. Like, you're dealing with the people, you know, you're consulting, you're collaborating. You know, you're working towards a goal. You're going to, industry events, career fairs, things like that. Yeah. Versus back end HR is more like, policy, procedure, garnishments, HR law, things I wasn't necessarily interested in. So you don't have to necessarily be real knowledgeable of HR. You have to have all those things that I mentioned before: project management skills, ability to communicate effectively, ability to learn, research, know your markets, and things like that. So, if anybody was looking to, get into tech and, maybe not necessarily go the sales engineering route or the SDR route, like tech recruiting is a good launching pad. I had no tech recruiting experience before I became a tech recruiter 14 years ago. I was right out of college. They don't have a degree for tech recruiting.
You were a tech recruiter before I even knew what tech was. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's wild.
It's been out for a while, but it's grown so much. Yeah. So yeah, that's really kind of the breakdown with that.
Man, so I try to do my best to have these questions prepared, for myself, but two for Eric, so that way he's able to know how to kind of cut these videos up better to make his job easier. But I can't help, I always have like real organic questions that like pop up, because I think people don't realize I really enjoy talking to the guests. I actually enjoy interviewing. I enjoy these conversations. And so I have a couple like sidebar questions that I have. And so within tech recruiting, like there are certain roles in tech, and I'm speaking just from my vantage point of what I see. There are certain roles in tech that are very secure, almost recession, almost layoff proof, like cybersecurity, where it's like companies really need that security. But then there are like other roles, like, let's say someone being just a software engineer, and it's like, okay, after the product is built, it's like, depending on what's happening with the company, depending on what's happening in the market, the company might or might not need that software engineer anymore, and depending on like their tenure. What are some things that a tech recruiter can do to really solidify their position at a company if the company's deciding, hey, we need to do some type of shrinkage or we need to do like a freeze? Like, how can a tech recruiter at a company best set themselves up to be, I guess, almost like recession proof type of thing? Because I mean, bro, you've been in the industry 14 years, you've been killing it, you've made all types of moves, and it's like, yo, like, I'm sure that you've seen recruiters, because I like talking to you and talking to a couple other recruiters I met, I'm like, man, some of y'all take this very seriously.
Yeah.
And I can see that.
Yeah.
So what are some things that you think will be good for recruiters who are trying to scale and grow to where you're at, and aspiring recruiters to do that could set themselves up, one, for success, but two, to make themselves stand out even at their own company, that kind of brings them additional value?
Yeah. I mean, besides, performance, right? Outside of like hitting your performance targets and everything like that, I'm a real advocate for recruiters having a brand.
Okay. Yeah.
Like right now, like in 2023, like the world is digital,
It is.
You get everything. You can get to know somebody from an app. Like we all got a LinkedIn app on our phone.
Yeah.
Right. So I think one of the things is, always making sure that not only are you adding value to the company, but you're adding value to your network and your community. And one of the key things I would say, like even with the recruiters that I mentor, right? You want to be networking.
Yeah.
I think tech recruiting is a great role where you almost have to network.
Yeah.
You can't really reach your optimal level, really, in my opinion, if you don't network. Because, and I was telling somebody this a couple of weeks ago, I actually posted something like this on my LinkedIn, but networking is a value exchange. Okay. Yeah.
You unpack that?
Yeah, sure. So a lot of times, and I see like even like recruiters that I mentor and coach or people I've managed before, they go into the network and they go into the community thinking about what they can take from the network and what they can take from the community. And there's nothing wrong with that. You go out, you go network for that. So to get something, but also think about what value can I add to my network and my community, because that's what it is a value exchange. Yeah. Anytime you go to a tech conference, anytime you go to a mixer, anytime you go to even a non-industry event where people are just around, think about like, okay, these people can do this for me, but what can I do for people? Yeah, exactly. Right? So for a recruiter, that's why I said you should be doing resume breakdown sessions like I'm doing. You should be coaching people. You should be doing the greater good. That keeps your skills sharp. Yeah. That keeps you in the know of what's really going on in the market, because networking being a value exchange is deposits and withdrawals. And I feel like, a lot of times people, they withdraw from people way too much.
So if we can give like an example. So, okay, I'm a technical recruiter. I'm new. I'm a new technical recruiter, recruiting for, I guess entry level roles. I'm at a tech event. What does me networking look like? Not necessarily people I'm trying to hire, but what does me networking? How can I network at the event to like make connections, and what are some things I can say or share with other maybe technical recruiters, hiring managers, or people at various companies that could be a value exchange of where I'm showing my value to them?
You mean as a tech recruiter?
Yeah.
Yeah. So typically if you're at like a networking event, you're looking to get candidates, right? Yeah. But also, like, hey, if you need some help with your resume, let's talk off to the side and I can help you. Yeah. Right. Even if they can't do anything for your job slot. Yeah. Thinking about like the bigger picture, even if they can't necessarily do something for your job, like, hey, let me know, like we can talk off to the side, we can go in the conference room real quick and I can just kind of like, run some things by you. Oh yeah. I've had plenty of people tell me, coming up to a booth, like, yeah, I just had a, interview last week. It didn't go so well. So I'm looking and I'm like, hey, I'm not necessarily hiring for a Java developer, but hey, I want to see you do well. Maybe we can set some time up and I can just kind of just riddle some questions by you. Yeah. Right. Or like even like partnering with like going to the other booths, talking to the other recruiters. Yeah, we're all competing for talent, but I think collaboration right now is necessary, especially amongst our people. It is. So it's like, hey, what can I help you with? Like, hey, I have this platform, let me help you get on, right? Like, what can I help you with? And let's help each other out. Yeah. So that's what networking would look like. Like if you go to that, it's a value exchange. Yeah. Like sometimes you're going to have to pour into people before they pour into you and vice versa. But that's what I would say the thing is. It's like that's what helped me grow my career, and that's what I learned. As far as like being able to maneuver.
Yeah. I love it. When you said earlier, it's not just what you can get from others, but like what you can add. It made me think about like the political campaigns. Ask not what the tech industry can do for you, but what you can do for the tech industry. Let me stop. Yeah. Nah, bro, I love it, dude. I love it. Hey, y'all, we have some incredible news that I'm super excited about to finally announce our private tech community. Yes, you heard that right. A private tech community exclusively for you all who want more than just the podcast. You want more than just the FAQs. You want to talk with tech recruiters. You want to talk with hiring managers. You want to talk with coaches. You want to talk with people that can help with editing and rewriting your resume. Maybe you're somebody where you just want to be a part of a community where we're talking about updates of what's happening in the software industry. Y'all, this community that we've launched is also going to involve a Discord where we're going to be talking about updates in tech. We're going to be talking about companies that are hiring. We're going to be talking about upcoming tech events. So that way you don't have to miss any of the gems that I know, but not even just what I know, but the gems that friends of mine that are also in the tech industry know as well. So if you want to be a part of that community, go ahead and sign up so that way you can join us. We have a few different tiers. Ultimately, it's all tuned in for you. Oh, and last thing, also within this community, we're going to be streaming all of our interviews with our podcast guests. So instead of you having to wait months to watch the videos later on, you'll actually be able to watch the interviews in real time and ask your live questions to those guests. So make sure you join our tech community.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ12. Just go to Indeed.com/PODKATZ12 right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need. You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. Just go to Indeed.com/PODKATZ13 right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.